Hello and welcome to World at Noon. I am Obi Chukwemeka. The Ondo State Governor has sworn in new commissioners and special advisors with a charge to prioritize his delivery. The governor will be put in place to justify the confidence reposed in his administration. Those inaugurated as commissioners and special advisors are Mr. Emmanuel Ibason, Mr. Razak Obe, Mr. Sumi Smart Francis, Mrs. Olaumi Lawole, Mrs. Olamide Falana, Dr. Kayode Ajulo SAN, Mr. Akinwumi Showore, Mr. Benga Omole, Mrs. Omomi Isaac, Mr. Gani Mohammed, Mr. Oyeni Oseni, Honorable Alabi Johnson, Professor Michael Odemeyer, and Mr. Babalola Joseph Oyade. Mr. Bayo Phillips is being inaugurated as the 16th head of service. The event was graced by major stakeholders from the 18 local government areas, as well as friends of the appointees from within and outside the country. In the meantime, the attention of Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has been drawn to reports of alleged attacks persons and destruction of awareness materials in the wake of President Bola Tinubu's visit to the state on Wednesday. The governor said his administration will not tolerate any form of violence that is capable of threatening peace and tranquility in any part of the state. A statement from the office of the Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Ebenezer Adeniyi, further said, Aiyedatiwa frowned at those who use politics to disturb state peace, saying it is unacceptable and must be met with decisive actions of law enforcement agencies. The statement also made it clear that nobody associated with the governor or the government of Ondo State was involved in any of the reported activities ascribed to political thugs during the president's visit to Owo and Akure. The governor has therefore asked law enforcement agencies in the state to arrest and prosecute anyone found to be engaging in such violent activities. He urged politicians to caution their followers to stop inciting the public and intimidating opponents. The Ondo State Deputy Governor, Dr. Laide Adelami, has assured that the present administration will give priority attention to the well-being of all, especially youths in the state. Addressing APC youth leaders from the 11 wards of our local government area of the state in Akure, the Deputy Governor said Governor Aiyedatiwa would implement policies that would advance their development. Government House correspondent Zihimo Ebeme covered the event, and the report is presented from our studio.
The youth leaders from 11 political wards in our local government were in Akure to congratulate the Deputy Governor on his new feat and solidarize with him. The Deputy Governor, while appreciating their support for the present administration in the state, said they should be aware of politicians who would come to hoodwink them with money. He said Governor Aiyedatiwa as anyone with money but with sincere developmental agenda.
For the bold declaration that you have made.
The leader of the team, Oluwole Olubode, thanked Governor Aiyedatiwa for considering the Deputy Governor worthy of the position.
We want you to know that your nicknames is we can't name it all here. We were supposed to come some weeks back, but we decided to wait till we bury our late governor so that we can give him that last respect before visiting the officer.
Also, the youth leader of Emure Ward 2, Sunday Kazim, said the youth need political patronage so as to give them a sense of belonging.
So
The House of Representatives has described the 2012 Steve Orosoye report as outdated and called on President Bola Tinubu to thoroughly review it before going ahead to implement same. The House therefore raised a 23-man committee chaired by House Leader Julius Ihovere to recommend appropriate measures to mitigate the likely fallout of the Osrc report review. The federal government had on Monday announced plans to implement the Osrc report, which proposes the merger of ministries, departments and agencies as a measure to cut the cost of governance. Moving a motion of urgent public importance on the floor of the House of Representatives on Thursday, the trio of Kama Nkema Kama, Shoba and Gaza Gbefi noted that the Osrc report recommended the reduction of statutory agencies from 263 to 161, the abolition of 38 agencies, and the reversion of 14 agencies to departments and ministries, and the management audit of 89 agencies, capturing biometric features of staff, as well as discontinuation of government funding of professional bodies and councils. The lawmakers said if implemented, the government will be saving over 862 billion naira between 2012 and 2015, with a breakdown showed that about 124.8 billion naira will be reduced from agencies proposed for abolition, about 100.6 billion naira from agencies proposed for 6 billion professional bodies, 489.9 naira from universities, 50.9 billion naira from polytechnics, 32.3 billion naira from colleges of education, and 616 million naira from boards of federal medical centers. The government has announced that it had financial provision to support 2 million women in agribusiness activities across the country. This is just as the wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, presented bank drafts of 10 million naira each to the wives of governors to support women and youth farmers to produce food and earn incomes. The Executive Secretary, the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, Paul Ikone, in a statement issued in Abuja, stated that the First Lady flagged up the Renewed Hope initiative in Owerri, Imo State, as part of efforts to boost food production by women farmers. The Renewed Hope initiative, birthed by the First Lady, is a grassroots scheme designed to improve the lives of Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The scheme, which aims to empower women farmers and tackle poverty, was flagged up by Mrs. Tinubu in conjunction with the National Agricultural Land Development Authority. Let's now turn our attention to Yobe State, where the government has quarantined 206 persons following the outbreak of cerebrospinal meningitis in 3 local government areas in the state, resulting in the death of 20 persons. This was as the Commissioner for Health in Gombe State, Dr. Habu Dahiru, said the state has lost 6 persons to the deadly disease. The spokesman for the Yobe State Ministry of Health, Sulaiman Gimberg, told newsmen that the state recorded 20 deaths in the Potiskum, Fika, and Funen local government areas. These victims, Gimberg, were students of Technical College, Government Girls Science Technical, and Federal Government Girls, or the Potiskum local government area. He said the Yobe State government had ordered vaccination with a view to launching a statewide immunization campaign to contain the spread of the disease. The European Union Deputy Head of Mission to Nigeria, Zimos Virgos, has called of the factors contributing to criminality in the oil-rich Niger Delta region. He stated that the EU would endorse inclusive community methods to tackle the underlying factors of violence in the Niger Delta region. A recent report by Partnership Initiative for the Niger Delta reveals that militancy, illegal oil bunkering related clashes, kidnapping for ransom, communal conflict, mob violence, clashes between rival cult gangs, organized criminality, and separatists are the most prevalent crimes in the region. Speaking at the launch of a peace promotion project tagged a community-centered approach to transforming criminality and violence in the Niger Delta in Abuja on Thursday, Vargas called for a paradigm shift in addressing the scourge. The UN Secretary General Special Representative for Central Africa, Abdul Abari, has expressed concern over growing reports of violence and gun battles in N'Djamena, the Chadian capital. Abari, in a statement, called on all actors to show calm and restraint, particularly at a time when Chad is entering the final stages of its political transition. With presidential elections planned for 6th of May, Mr. Abari reiterated that he and the entire UN system continue to be available to support the efforts of the government and the people of Chad to ensure a peaceful, inclusive and credible electoral process. He suggested that opposition leader Yaya Bello has been killed in a shootout in N'Djamena. According to news reports, Bello was blamed for a deadly attack on Chad's main security agency, although he denied any involvement. It was widely believed that he will be the main political opponent of the president in the upcoming vote, according to reports. In the meantime, as Cuba faces an economic crisis, the country is grappling with severe shortages, rising child malnutrition, and a historic appeal for UN aid. The crisis has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and US sanctions, leaving Cubans struggling to access basic necessities and leading to a surge in protests across the country. As the situation remains dire, many are hoping that the international community will respond to Cuba's call for help.
Children are supposed to get 3 kilograms of milk a month, but now they are only giving 1.5 kilograms a month.
Milk. I can't remember the last time I drank milk. It's very expensive.
Although we have difficulties, we're still alive, like we Cubans say.
As far as milk is concerned, Cuban children are very privileged compared to other children in the world.
Before they used to give 2.3 kilos of rice per person per month. Now they give nearly half a kilo of rice per person per month. And that's when it's available.
Now to the US, where President Joe Biden has been under pressure over immigration issue at the borders. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, flanked by U.S. President Joe Biden, speaks during the president's visit to the U.S.-Mexico border in Brownsville, Texas, U.S.
From the start, I directed my team to do everything possible to help protect the people in the communities threatened by these fires. In response to specific requests made from the state, we already have more than 500 federal personnel here working on fire suppression. That includes the deployment of 100 federal firefighters and more on the way, as well as dozens of additional fire engines, air tankers, small planes, helicopters to help fight the flames. And FEMA has already guaranteed that Texas and Oklahoma will be reimbursed the cost of keeping folks safe. And we're grateful for the brave first responders risking their lives to save others. And we urge folks to listen to the warnings from the local officials, listen to them. I've flown over a lot of these wildfires since I've been president. Matter of fact, I've been a helicopter in the west and the southwest and northwest, flown over more land burned to the ground, all the vegetation gone, than this entire state of Maryland in square footage. The idea there's no such thing as climate change, I love that, man. There's disaster relief after fires and winter storms across the state. When disasters strike, there's no red state or blue state. They're just communities and families looking for help. So we're standing with everyone affected by these wildfires. We're going to continue to help you respond and recover. Now, turning to the purpose of my visit. I want to thank Congressman Gonzalez. There you are, pal.
Taking updates on the Israel-Hamas conflict.
We headed to Al Rashid Road, hoping to get some flour for our children, but then the Israeli tanks advanced. They opened fire randomly on everyone on the road. Dozens were killed and hundreds injured. I simply went there hoping to get some food for my young children. We've been starving for more than 140 days. Very little aid is entering the Gaza Strip, and nothing is reaching the north.
It was the first time that I went there to wait for aid.
Fire, dozens were killed and hundreds injured. We appeal to the whole world. We cannot feed our children. Any aid delivered is soaked in our blood. May God punish those responsible.
It is known to the whole world that the north of the Gaza Strip has been starving for months. It is beyond description. This man has a family of 12. As soon as he grabbed a bag of flour, an Israeli soldier shot him in the chest. Seeing him clinging to the bag of flour, the Israeli soldiers shot him again on the other side of the body. He is lying here before you. The Israelis alleged to be with humanity. They showered us with bombs, missiles and shells, opened fire randomly on any moving person. They are killing and starving us.
In another development, George Galloway has won the Rochdale by-election. The veteran pro-Palestinian campaigner began his campaign. This is for Gaza. Labour was thrown into chaos when the party withdrew its conspiracy that Israel was complicit in the massacre of its own people.